Welcome back. You know, our first guest is a registered dietitian and nutrition consultant. Her name is Fiorella DiCarlo, and she's a friend of the show. She always comes down and keeps us in shape and tells us what to eat and how to do, how to be, and all that stuff, especially for the holidays. She joins us today to share tips on keeping healthy this holiday season. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I see all of the stuff that you post up.
Yeah.
You're really working it out, huh?
I'm working, you know, well, this is what I'm thinking. I have a whole game plan. So if you're throwing a party this season, right, how you can keep yourself sane, healthy, and your guests and friends healthy as well, right? Yeah. So here are some tips on how to start, like, you know, the big dinner party, right? We have the big dinner party, and we have so many things at the main meal. And as a hostess myself, one of the things that I really appreciate is my guests coming in a little bit hungry for the meal. I hate making so much effort, and then they're stuffed by the time that they get to me.
They ate at another Thanksgiving place or something.
Right, right, exactly. So I like them to actually enjoy the food of all the effort that I'm putting into the food.
Well, I'll try not to come over and fall asleep after eating somewhere
Exactly,
else.
exactly. Well, the major issues that I hear, well, one of the major problems here around the holidays, right, is people, you know, worry about gaining weight and so forth. And really, the main meal, the holiday meals, if everyone just kind of splurged on the holiday, they'd be fine. You know, it's what happens before and after. That's what I hear from my clients, right? So before and after is the problem. You know, right before the holidays, everyone starts bringing things to the office, right? After the holidays, people start bringing their leftovers to the office,
so you can't
right?
get out of the splurge.
You can't get out of it, right? So if you just focus on your main meal, it'd be really helpful, right? So that is the main purpose of this. Now, for the meal itself, right, this is a little tip in order to make sure that your leftovers actually do you well, right? So we have the main meal here, and it's filled with different, like, you know, cornbread and so forth, and mashed potatoes and so many things like this, right? Americans love to candy everything, right? I'm from Italy, so for me it's very odd for me to like make your vegetables dessert. It's a very American thing to make your vegetables dessert. We just save our dessert for dessert. So, but nonetheless, it's a tradition, and I appreciate
and you eat all day.
You do, you do. So what I would do, like if I'm setting up a dinner party for myself, the first thing I would do is I would make more of the vegetable sides, right? You're cooking them in bulk that day, and you're making a lot more of them. So that's what your guests are going away with, your vegetable dishes. You know, they're going away with that. And what are you keeping in the refrigerator? Your vegetable dishes. Now, the mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the biscuits, and so forth, the mac and cheese, right? Make those, make them, enjoy them, but make them in smaller batches, right? Make them in smaller batches so you don't have so many leftovers from there, right? Because then it comes and it's like Monday morning and you're still eating mac and cheese, which doesn't even taste good anymore. It doesn't reconstitute well, you know?
What about the people who come with their own Tupperware?
Well, this is what you would do.
Clean your house out.
Yeah, that's me. So also, the other thing you can do if you are cooking a big dinner, right, the best thing to do is make sure that you make your appetizers quite light. Because remember, people are coming to your home, and the idea of the appetizer is only to whet your appetite. It's not to keep you full. It's not to be your meal. It's just to kind of prep you to nibble on, right? So you don't want to
really go in on appetizers.
Exactly.
And make a meal out of the appetizers.
Yes, well, it also depends on what you serve, too. So if you're a hostess, the best thing to do is serve some of the things that I've shown here, for example, right? Because if you're going into a big meal and you're having, you know, all of the sides and so forth, and have some room for dessert later, you know, you want to go in with not such a full stomach, right? So the first thing you want to do is watch everybody's alcohol, you know, just pour just enough for everybody, right? Because when people drink alcohol, they mindlessly eat a little bit, they just keep going, you know, so you want to just like curb that a little bit for the main meal so they're ready.
Like alcohol and tryptophan.
Yeah, it's right. It's completely to sleep and to bed. So, you know, so you want to go into this meal in that way. So some of the things that I prepare today are to kind of whet your appetite a little bit. They're very tasty, so everyone can have them.
These are not just props. You can eat these. These are
you
edible.
can eat them. Yes, I made these. So you know, you want to keep the spread like that so that when you go into the main meal, everyone is you know, when you're a little bit hungry, when you start to eat, everything tastes that much better, right? It just is. It's a fact. So it's better to go in that way. And I'll tell you something. If someone sits down to my dinner meal and they're not eating, things are going to be thrown. Okay, they better eat. That's it. They have the things they have to eat, right? So here we are. We have some really light appetizers here. And so what, if you notice across the board, what I have really eliminated out of here, because this is not, we're not doing a cocktail party where there's no food. This is appetizers before a main big meal. Right. So I've lightened it up here, right? So there's not a lot of starch going on here, because starch, you know, forget about the carb thing and the weight thing with the carb. What it really does, starch as well, is that it you know, expands. And so you don't need room for the real good stuff. You know what I mean? Save it for the dessert. You know, why munch on chips along the way for no reason? You know what I mean? So here we are. We've lightened it all up. What I have here, okay, now this is a spicy hummus dip with a little bit of yogurt, okay? And now instead of adding the chips and whatever goes along with it generally, right, we're going to keep it quite light. But what I've chosen are two, I chose just a seasonal fruit and another sweet fruit that, you know, people don't think about it in this way. And what you're doing here, it provides a crunch. And it provides a sweetness that picks up a little bit of the spiciness here. So if you want to give this a try, check that out. Look at that. So it's a sweet and spicy. How tasty. I'm like waiting for the reaction here.
We're making everybody here.
Yes, and so that's what you do.
Wow, that kicks it up a little bit.
Right, a little bit afterwards. And so now also for presentation, if you're a good hostess for presentation, if you get a lemon.
Did you put hot sauce in that?
It's a little kick, it's a little chipotle in there. So here you want to put a little lemon juice on your open apple and a little lemon juice on your avocado, because it keeps it green and it prevents this from browning. So because it's very unattractive to come up to like a plate and have a brown. Yes, so it's not getting brown, and it looks attractive, so people can have that. And you can do that with the strawberry as well, right? So you have a sweet and spicy. So now the other thing here, now these are also, this is a take on cheese and vegetables, but not the boring crudité like celery, putting celery. Nobody wants to eat celery, we're not rabbits. So what we have here, we have some great products from Rayo's, right? So Rayo's has this very classic, it's called vegetable sotoyo. Sotoyo means in oil, right? Now, you want to drain it and you want to like pat it out just a little bit, just so that it doesn't, you know, so you can put the little skewer together. And what we have here, we have like marinated mushrooms, grilled marinated olives and artichokes and pepper. So they do a really good job. So you can just put these together. And here I have, you know, different combinations of olives, of cheese, and so forth that you can try. And it's a little bit of just an amuse-bouche, where you're just taking a little bit of a taste. Amuse-bouche, just a little bite, right? So that you're not like stuffing yourself before the main meal, right? You want to try that's, and the strawberries too, right? But that's just because.
Can you dip that in that or what?
Oh, in here? Go ahead. Yes, please too. So you just got to get a little traction there.
There we go. There we go.
Some wrist action.
Now you got to try this.
Yeah, so it's sweet and spicy. It perfectly cleans it up, right? See? There you go.
I'm loving it.
Because you're about, that's right, because you're about to have cornbread, you're about to have pumpkin pie, so lighten up the appetizers. And here, this is what we have. We have this awesome little guy here, it's called an endive, right? And it has pretty stiff leaves, so it could carry things, you know? It could be your little spoon almost. So here we are. What I have here is I made a avocado mint with crab. Okay, now you can substitute, you can just leave the avocado there. You can substitute also anything really, lobster, tuna, even shrimp, you know, in this recipe as well. Just very light, because those fish are very, very light, you know, and so you won't feel it the way you would feel something heavier.
Do you use your hands a lot when you cook? You know,
oh God, yes.
Instead of the spoons?
No, it's so funny. We have ones, you know, we're not French, right? So the French have a spoon and a knife for every little thing, and they cut everything. I totally do. Yeah, I do.
You gotta use
we just do it, you know, because it's family, right? I know where they've been, and it's family, so it's good. So here, this is what this is here, is avocado with mint and the crab, right? And so again, very light. And what you would do is you would just pick it up and you would just eat it with the crunch of the endive.
Oh, wow.
You know, yeah, so it's really, really good, really light, and everything that there is really, really healthy too. So when you're walking into this meal, you're good. You still have some appetite, you know, and you can sit down and you can have a good time.
So happy holidays to everybody, and get in touch with Fiorella DiCarlo.
Yes, Fiorella Eats.
Where do we go?
FiorellaEats.com. Follow me on Twitter too, and my YouTube channel for my cooking videos.
Give her a big hand, everybody. Fiorella DiCarlo. All right, thank you so much. We're going to eat all of this up when we go to the next set.